Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing what I would call a maintenance session for both power and strength. So this is actually going to be two videos. The first is going to be what I'm doing climbing wise, and then I'm actually going to be doing some lifting, and that'll be its own video next week. You know the drill. I'm going to do my usual warm-up, warming up on the newest set. It's right behind me. I'm going to try and flash as many of the climbs as I can up to the yellow tag level, and I do have a harder boulder in mind that I'm excited to try today.
If you've been watching my recent videos, you know that my outdoor objectives have switched to being sport climbing focused. And in Chattanooga, the sport climbing is still pretty bouldery, so I do want to maintain some power. I'm making sure I'm keeping up with my power by having a bouldering session in the gym from every 7 to 14 days, just to make sure I'm still getting that stimulus. However, because these are maintenance sessions and not necessarily building or training sessions, I do want to keep track of my volume and keep it fairly low. So during today's warm-up, I want to talk more about the importance of tracking your volume and how it helps reduce the risk of overtraining. And then during today's session, we'll go through an example of volume tracking. When we're talking about volume management in general, the reason we want to keep track of how much volume we're doing is because we want to try to reduce the risk of overtraining, which just means the amount of stress that you're putting on your body is too high for the amount of recovery that you're getting. The symptoms of overtraining are going to be excessive fatigue, a prolonged decrease in performance, if you're getting frequent injuries or tweaks. These are all signs that you might be doing too much, and if you're overtraining, it's ultimately going to continue to dig you into a recovery hole that's going to be harder and harder to get out of. So trying to manage your volume on the front end is ultimately going to extend your athletic longevity. When it comes to overtraining, like I said, there's two pieces to the puzzle. It's how much stress you're putting on your body and how much recovery you're getting. We're going to talk about the strategy for managing stress, which is volume management, and I also do just want to mention the other side of the coin, which is managing your recovery. So simple things like getting enough sleep, making sure you're eating well, drinking enough water are really going to help the recovery side of things and are equally as important as managing your stress. On the stress side of things, there are other factors that are important to consider that you might not think would affect your climbing so much, but if you are going through a stressful period in other parts of your life, that is something that's really important to consider because our body doesn't differentiate the mental stress from the physical stress. It's all going to add up. So if you're in a busy time at work or there's something happening with your family, all of these things are things to consider in this equation. Other examples of stress that would affect your climbing would be, for example, if you have a physical job and you're on your feet a lot and you're moving around a lot. All of these things need to be considered in the equation. Now, on the stress side of the equation, there are only so many things in your control. You might not be able to control how much physicality you experience at your job. You're not able to necessarily control the amount of stress that you're experiencing in other parts of your life. And so that's why volume management is so important, because it is part of the equation that we have full control over. have a feeling I did all of those wrong, but finished them up, so all good. The climb that I want to project today is a blue tag, so I'm actually going to warm up a little bit more. I don't feel quite ready to pull on it yet. I think what I'm going to do is try some of those slab yellow tags that I didn't do last time, and then maybe do one more yellow tag on the same wall as my project, which is the 50-degree wall. Okay, that was my warm-up. I'm going to hop on my project now. It's this orange climb behind me. I'll give you a sneak peek of it. And let's talk volume management now. So how do you track your volume when you're in the gym on these harder bouldering days? The system that I like to use was actually introduced to me by a colleague of mine named Natasha Barnes. I will link her in the caption, and it's basically tracking reps. And truthfully, a lot of this is up to your discretion. It's not as obvious as, for example, a lifting rep. You do one rep, that's one rep. This is going to take some discernment on your side. The important thing is that you just stay consistent from session to session. So starting at the easiest way to count an attempt or a rep is if you do your project. If you do the climb, that is one rep. If you do the climb in 2 parts, that's one rep. And that doesn't mean you do one part, rest for 5 seconds, and do the next part. You can take rests in between. Another example of one rep would be if you did all of the moves. Again, not necessarily with only 5 seconds between, you can take rests in between, but all of those count as one rep. Where we get into some trickier territory is, let's say you're working on the crux move of your climb and you try it 3 times and you say, okay, that's about the amount of energy I would spend on one rep. So again, it's just going to take a little bit of playing with and deciding what you want to count as a rep. As long as you're consistent from session to session, that's what's important. You can also categorize your projecting sessions by light, medium, and heavy volume days. For myself, I'm doing a light volume day today because, like I mentioned earlier, I'm lifting after this, and I'm also going sport climbing in a couple days. So I just want to get that quick hit of power maintenance, but I don't want to totally thrash myself. The number of reps for a light, medium, or heavy day are going to be somewhat personal to you, but I will give you some ballpark numbers. So for a light day, what I'm doing today, it can range anywhere from 5 to 9 reps. On a medium day, 9 to 12 reps, and on a heavy day, 12 to 15 reps. And you can, again, play with those numbers. Maybe a light day for you is 9 to 12 reps. Maybe a heavy day for you is 18 to 20 reps. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but as long as you're tracking consistently, you can parse those numbers out for yourself. Here is my objective for the day. It's this orange climb. And I'm only working on one climb today, so all of my reps are going to be on this singular climb, but especially on heavier days or medium days, you can definitely spread your reps out between multiple climbs. So it's been a couple weeks since I've been on this climb, and my first objective is going to be to repeat all the moves and remember my beta. That last pinch is really slick. There's like no texture on it, and it's also a bit wide for my hand, so I'm having some trouble pinching it. The last time I tried this climb, I was able to do the move, so I know it goes. So I'm going to count all of that as one attempt, and I am going to work the top a little more. Okay, stuck the move. It felt extremely hard, but we're going to start trying it from the bottom now, see what kinds of links I can make. I'd like to stick that first powerful undercling move from the start would be nice, and yeah, just see what kind of high point I can get from the bottom. Volume check-in. So I did all of the moves, or almost all the moves. That counts as one. I tried that second to last move twice and had a mulligan once, and then just almost did the climb. So I would put myself at like 3 attempts right now. I'm going to take a pretty long rest, probably 5 to 10 minutes, and I'll try it again, see how that goes. I probably only have really 1 to 2 more goes in me. That'll put me at 5-ish attempts, which feels pretty good. I did get more of my hand on the pinch that time, but I couldn't get my pinky on. I think I might have just been a little tired. So my plan is to climb back up there, try and repeat that move again, but I'm probably done trying it from the start today because I just feel too tired when I get up there. So I will come back and try and finish it up another day, but definitely a really good session on it, a lot of progress, so I'm happy with it. I'm happy I was able to stick that move again. I think I'm understanding it better. Part of it is that I do need to be really high up in my shoulder in order to get all 4 fingers on it and to get it to feel good for that lock off. And so I'm definitely just going to have a little more energy going into the end there. So like I said, lots of progress today. I feel like I've got my beta much more dialed now, and I'm climbing the beginning a lot better, so I'll have a better chance of sending it in the future, but I will have to come back for that. Those were my 5 attempts, and I'm calling it good there. Going to move on to the strength training portion of my session. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you back next week with the strength training part of my workout.